Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the darkest and most chilling true stories you've ever heard. Tonight, we have something truly spine-tingling for you. 3 disturbing true roommate horror stories. These tales are not for the faint of heart, so make sure you're sitting comfortably and maybe keep a light on. Let's get started. Story 1. The Silent Stranger. To give you a more vivid picture of this chilling story, let's delve deeper into Emily's experience, the clues she encountered, and the terrifying realization that led her to uncover Sarah's dark obsession. Emily was a second-year college student, majoring in psychology. She had always been an independent and determined individual. Moving into a new apartment was supposed to be an exciting chapter in her life, a chance to focus on her studies and enjoy her college experience. From the moment she moved in, Emily noticed that Sarah was different. Sarah kept to herself, rarely engaging in conversation. She would often sit in her room for hours, door closed, curtains drawn. Emily tried to be friendly, but Sarah's distant demeanor made it difficult. Initially, Emily brushed off the peculiar behavior. After all, college was a time for everyone to adjust and find their footing. But as weeks turned into months, Emily couldn't ignore the strange occurrences happening around her. It started with small things. Emily would find her belongings moved from where she had left them. A book she had placed on the coffee table would mysteriously end up on the kitchen counter. Her favorite sweater would go missing, only to reappear neatly folded on her bed days later. At first, Emily thought she was just being forgetful. She had a busy schedule, after all, balancing classes, part-time work, and a social life. But as the incidents became more frequent and bizarre, she began to feel uneasy. One evening, while studying for an upcoming exam, Emily heard a soft whispering sound. She paused, straining her ears to locate the source. The whispering seemed to be coming from Sarah's room. Emily's curiosity was piqued. She put down her textbook and tiptoed towards Sarah's door, pressing her ear against the wooden surface. The whispers were faint, almost inaudible, but there was an eerie, unsettling quality to them. It sounded like Sarah was having a conversation with someone, but Emily couldn't hear the other person's voice. She knocked softly on the door, hoping to get Sarah's attention. There was no response. Emily knocked again, a little louder this time, but still, no answer. Feeling a mix of concern and curiosity, Emily decided to gently push the door open. What she saw sent chills down her spine. Sarah was sitting on her bed, facing the wall, her back to the door. Her shoulders were hunched, and her long, dark hair hung like a curtain around her face. The room was dimly lit by a small bedside lamp, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The whispering had stopped, and the silence was deafening. Emily stood frozen in the doorway, unsure of what to do. After what felt like an eternity, she slowly backed out of the room and closed the door, her heart pounding in her chest. She tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination, but deep down, she knew something was very wrong. The following day, Emily's curiosity got the better of her. While Sarah was out, she decided to investigate. She felt guilty for invading her roommate's privacy, but her fear outweighed her guilt. She entered Sarah's room and began to look around. The room was eerily neat, almost perfect. Emily's eyes were drawn to the bed, where she noticed a small, leather-bound journal peeking out from underneath the mattress. Her hands trembled as she pulled it out and opened it. The first few pages seemed harmless, filled with mundane entries about Sarah's day-to-day life. But as Emily read further, the tone of the journal changed. The entries became darker, more obsessive. Sarah had been meticulously documenting Emily's every move, noting down her daily routines, her likes and dislikes, and even the times she would come and go. Emily's heart raced as she flipped through the pages, each one more disturbing than the last. There were detailed descriptions of Emily's conversations, her interactions with friends, and even her private moments. The most chilling part was when Sarah began writing about her thoughts of harming Emily if she ever got too close to uncovering the truth. Terrified, Emily quickly put the journal back and left the room, her mind racing. She knew she had to get out of there. She packed her essentials and went to stay with a friend, not daring to spend another night in that apartment. The next morning, Emily reported the incident to the authorities. They took her seriously, and an investigation was launched. It was discovered that Sarah had a history of mental illness and had recently gone off her medication. She was taken into custody and given the help she needed. Emily was relieved to have escaped unharmed, but the experience left her deeply scarred. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, and it took her a long time to feel safe again. She often wondered what might have happened if she hadn't discovered the journal when she did. Story 2. The Secret Door. Our second story involves two best friends, Mark and Jason, who decided to move in together to save money. They found a charming old apartment in the city, with lots of character and even a bit of history. Little did they know, some histories are best left forgotten. While exploring their new home, Mark and Jason found a locked door in the basement. It seemed out of place, and their landlord had no information about it. Intrigued, they decided to break the lock and see what was inside. Inside, they found an old, dusty room filled with antique furniture and photographs. The photos were of the apartment from decades ago, and in each one, there was a man who looked disturbingly similar to Jason. The resemblance was uncanny. Jason laughed it off as a weird coincidence, but Mark felt uneasy. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening. Lights would flicker, objects would move on their own, and Jason began sleepwalking, something he had never done before. Mark started to believe the apartment was haunted, but Jason remained skeptical until one night. Mark woke up to find Jason standing in the kitchen, staring at the hidden door. When he approached him, Jason turned around with a blank expression and said, "He's coming." Mark was terrified and shook Jason awake, who had no memory of what happened. They decided to research the apartment's history and discovered that the man in the photographs was a former tenant who had gone mad and murdered his roommate before disappearing. The hidden room was his, and it was believed he still haunted the apartment, fearing for their lives. Mark and Jason moved out immediately. They never experienced anything like it again, but the memory of that hidden room and the eerie resemblance in the photographs still haunts them. Story 3. The Phantom Roommate. Our final story takes place in a college dormitory, where a student named Lisa moved in and met her new roommate, Megan. Megan was friendly and outgoing, and they quickly became friends. Lisa and Megan got along well, and everything seemed perfect. But soon, Lisa started noticing strange things about Megan. Megan would disappear for long periods without explanation, and Lisa would find odd items in their room, old-fashioned clothes, strange symbols drawn on paper, and even animal bones. When Lisa confronted Megan, she brushed it off, saying it was for an art project. But Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night, Lisa woke up to find Megan performing a strange ritual in the middle of their room. There were candles, strange symbols drawn on the floor, and Megan was chanting in a language Lisa didn't understand. Terrified, Lisa pretended to be asleep and watched as Megan finished the ritual and went back to bed as if nothing had happened. The next morning, Megan acted like everything was normal, but Lisa knew she had to get out. Lisa requested a room change and moved out immediately. She later found out that Megan had been involved in occult practices and had tried to summon spirits. The thought of what might have happened if she had stayed still gives Lisa nightmares. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Your support helps us continue to bring you more content like this. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and sweet dreams.